Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Name Sports Talk Podcast. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe, having a great start. Your week is off to a great start, all staying safe. I know we're getting ready to start school, whether it's college or teachers getting ready back for elementary, middle, high school. Just want to wish everyone a safe first day, first week. Hope everything goes well, and let's have a great school year for all. This is episode 5, season 10 of Big Nate Sports Talk. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. The Washington Mystics today had their exit interviews. However, it was just the players. Head coach, general manager Mike Thibault will have his Zoom media call at a later date. I did reach out to the PR, and they will keep me informed. They do not have a date yet. I'm going to say, in my personal guess, he will probably have something Thursday or Friday at the latest. In the meantime, you should have seen earlier today that I uploaded the extra interviews. The first one was about an hour and some change, that had Alicia Clark, Maisha Hines-Allen, Ariel Atkins, Natasha Cloud, Shakira Austin, Ariel Atkins, Shatoi Walker-Kimbrell, and Elena Deladon. Those that were not present, it was Tiana Hawkins, Evina Westbrook, Elizabeth Williams, and Jasmine Jones, but she was a late signing to the team. Rory Machida did have her a separate Zoom call, so that was posted separately. So you should see those 2 videos already uploaded. But when he has his media availability, that's when we will have our final Mystic video for the season. We'll still have WNBA coverage. WNBA season's almost coming to an end. Round 2 will start at the end of tonight, regardless of whoever advances in these game 3s. I know Dallas plays and Connecticut play tomorrow, Wednesday, and then New York versus Chicago, they play tonight. So definitely be tuned in for that. But other than that, we're still going to talk about the preseason. We're still going to be in football mode. College football is around the corner. College basketball is around the corner. We're starting to kind of get ready for September for the month for baseball. Then we're going to get into the playoffs for that. So just be tuned in, y'all. And then we got NBA coming up soon, so be tuned in for that. But in this video, I do apologize. That was a very winded introduction. You have seen the title. It is week 2 of the NFL preseason, and so far so good. Again, we are observing the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders. This week, we're starting with the Baltimore Ravens. But this week, the Baltimore Ravens went to Arizona, and for the most part, it was a good game. I will say, in a different light, couple former Ravens we saw. The Baltimore Ravens defeated the Arizona Cardinals 24-17. The preseason streak lives on and now extended to 22. Couple things I definitely took away from the game. I think we need to, for one part, I'll start with Arizona. Trace McSorley, he completed 18 of 34 passes for 229 yards, no touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. There was 10 times where he was pressured. He only completed 2 passes out of those 10 for 33 yards, and one of those was a pick. He did get a late touchdown. The Cardinals, their running game was pretty much not effective. They only managed a combined 36 yards out of 15 attempts. You had Keontae Ingram, and from that game I remember, he was your leading score. He was your leading running back. You had Victor Bolden Jr. in that game, who had the most catches as the receiver, 66 yards from 5 catches. From the standpoint of the offensive line, they did a good job for the most part. They did allow 2 sacks. One of the sacks was on Travis Jones, where it was in the end zone. That was a good defensive play. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, I think they're still trying to figure some things out. I mean, I'll start with the secondary. They did not really do a great job. They allowed 153 yards. The QBR for our quarterbacks that did play, they had I think it was a 158 passing rating. And what was interesting, they didn't force a turnover. They missed 6 tackles. So we all know that the film session and practice was not going to be good for them. Still trying to figure some things out if you're Arizona. So, I mean, other than that, didn't really see much from the Arizona Cardinals. For Baltimore side, Tyler Huntley, he's definitely proving that he's proven why he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the game. 13 of 14, 129 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm not going to jump on this. Now that he has some value, would you trade him? But I think you need to have a quarterback that has the capabilities, like Lamar Jackson. I think that's a luxury that you need to have. In the same breath, Anthony Brown, he had a really good game. He was 10 of 13, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a 38 yarder to, I can't think of the web. I know his last name was Webb. Yes, Brown did throw an interception, but that was meaningless. The game was over. I mean, for the most part, I think your biggest star was Isaiah Likely. He had 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Like, when I look at the Ravens tight ends, it's going to be Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and then number 3, when he comes back from injury, I'm still holding out hope it'll be Charlie Collier. I'm not sold on Nick Boyle and Ben Mason at the moment. I'm just not. I know Nick Boyle had an injury, but I think it's best that you kind of go younger. And I think that having Collier and Likely behind Andrews, I think would be the best thing. But keep in mind, the Baltimore Ravens will have arguably one of the league's most dominant tight end groups, and definitely keep defensive coordinators on their toes. I really do think that the rookies have definitely are letting us know that they were the right picks for this team. Kyle Hamilton, he made a highlight of deflecting a touchdown, saving a pass that could have been a touchdown. Demarion Pepe Williams, if I'm saying that correctly, he's making good plays. I actually have him potentially making my 53-man roster. I thought he did a really good job on it was a 3rd down play. He got an interception. Travis Jones, he made McSorley run. Made him uncomfortable in that pocket. He will be out for the next, I think it's 3 to 5 weeks. I did think the injury to Travis Jones, I'm not going to say was dirty, but it was very uncalled for. Um, so it hyperextension, nothing to be a concern. But Travis Jones definitely had a good game. Tyler Beatty, he had a touchdown. Jordan Stout, um, he's actually proven that maybe we did make the right choice on him instead of the punt god that Buffalo drafted. He definitely pinned the ball. I believe it was on their 5-yard line, and he did something on his third punt. I think it was like 58 yards from their 27 to their Arizona's 15. There's some other. I got to give some undrafted rookies that did really well. Josh Ross, if I'm saying this correctly, is an inside linebacker. I think he's been showing he can bring some value to this team. He's been definitely all over the field. I want to say his name is like Riley Webb. He had 2 catches for 46 yards, and then we all know Anthony Brown. And then we had Chuck Wiley, who had a consecutive, who had I think 2 sacks on the final, that final drive of Arizona. My biggest area for competition at the moment, a couple areas. I'm looking at linebacker because you've got obviously, but other than Patrick Queen and Josh Bynes, Malik Harrison, I still have him on my 53-man roster. I think he did a really good job in the game against Arizona. Ross, I need to see some more. I got to look back at the tape. I potentially could see Baltimore keeping 4 or 5 inside linebackers. I think what might have Mr. Ross on this roster is he played under Mike McDonald at Michigan. But I'm still going to keep my eye on that. The offensive line, my concern is still the interior. Between Ben Powers, Tyree Phillips, and Ben Cleveland. Tyree Phillips definitely moved down to number 3 as of Sunday. He committed 3 penalties. Ben Cleveland did a great job. And also Ben Powers. Ben Cleveland, who, at one point of the season, even preseason, was on the he needed to get conditioning. And it would be interesting to really, really see if he will be the starter. Then also, too, like, I think that one thing I've noticed is that the people don't really understand that preseason does matter because it's you want to see who are your best, who can step up and be that guy that can make the roster, particularly when you have depth at any position. I think that matters because when you look at Baltimore, I believe you can't you have to build a culture of winning. And when you look at the Ravens, they have built that throughout the entire draft, the whole depth. Look at it, and it shows. And I think that matters. I think when we kind of throw it aside and say it's a glorified practice, and then when you look on the field, come preseason, in this preseason games, maybe we would like to see this, we'd like to see that. But I thought also too, it was a national televised game. The rookies as a whole for the Ravens did a really good job. So I definitely give them that. But I want to go back to the Cardinals really quick. When you look at the Cardinals on defense, there were a lot of missed tackles and missed coverage. Um, I that can't happen. Uh, there was a lot. I forgot his name, the linebacker's name. I think his last name is Watson. He had intercepted the ball, but I think when when on your defense, when most of your starters are resting, and J.J. Watt wasn't there because he tested positive for COVID. You have to be better. You can't miss tackles. You got to communicate on coverages. You just have to go out there and do your job. I know the plays will come to you, but at the end of the day, you have to stay the course and understand that, hey, we're going to get in one play. I just saw a lot of one-on-one coverage that led to missed open field tackles. That can't happen. And that showed the whole game to me defensively. Right now, for the Cardinals offensively, they didn't have a starter really out there. Will they play against Tennessee? We'll see. Other than that, I mean, nothing really happened. The running game, what happened was, I think his name is Jonathan Ward. He had suffered a shoulder injury, and that happened. So, and their running game wasn't much better. I think with Ward's injury, I think that definitely opened up the door for the others, in that those guys, I think his name is Eno Benjamin was out there, Darrell Williams. So there's a lot of things to happen. Trace McSorley, I can actually see him being the number 2 quarterback behind Kyler Murray. I was actually kind of curious why Colt didn't get out there. Trace McSorley did show toughness, especially when he was trying to run up the middle for a touchdown before he got stopped. I mean, again, it just from looking at it from a different perspective, the offense just didn't click for Arizona. So I think they'll get better for sure. But one thing I've noticed also, too, observation for going back to the Ravens side, they're going to have an issue with their secondary, especially when it comes to making some cuts, because we already know you've got Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and then Chuck Clark. And then you've got Tony Jefferson, Geno Stone, Kyler Fuller, Darius Williams, Jalen Armour Davis, and Pepe Williams. That's a lot of depth, but unfortunately, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. And I don't know who that would be. If you pushed me, I'll say it like this. Give me until the week 3 when we play the Commanders. And once I have my official 53-man roster good to go, I'll be okay. But for the most part, I can say it was a good overall performance by the Baltimore Ravens. In just 2 preseason games, there are some guys that are definitely making some cases. I'm proud of the fact that you have the young guys that are really stepping up and making a name for himself. As Isaiah Likely definitely a steal for the Ravens. I'm liking Tyler Huntley's play, Anthony Brown. We did cut Brent Huntley. We did cut him, unfortunately. We did make some other cuts that I will announce in the next video. But overall, I give the Baltimore Ravens I'll give them a B+. Again, my area of concern is the offensive line, because week 1 against the Jets, I don't know who that starting lineup would look like. I know you'll have Morgan Moses, Zeitler, Lindenbaum, question mark at left guard. I'm not comfortable with Jawan James playing left tackle. It's interesting to know that we gave Ronnie Stanley a hefty contract, and we're already into the injuries, and that's a very, very concerning thing for me. I'm hoping he'll be back, I will say, before week 7, but in the meantime, I'm okay with it with Jawan James. I just want to see some depth. For right now, Ben Cleveland holds number 1 spot at left guard. That can change. For all I know, Ben Powers can have a great game, and Tyree Phillips can make up for his performance in game 2 against the Cardinals. I give them a solid B+. It's definitely going to be tough. But I think after the Commanders preseason game, I think John Harbaugh and the coaching staff already know who their 53-man roster is. I wish you could keep all these guys, but it's a business, and it's going to definitely be some tough decisions. So with that being said, that is going to conclude this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. Like I said, game 3 is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Washington Commanders. I will actually be at that game in person. So to see from my own 2 eyes what I like out there and what I don't, I think that'll be really good. The next episode will be episode 6. That'll be the Washington Commanders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I will do the same thing, my observations of game 2. And then, again, like I stated, with the Washington Mystics, be on the lookout for that. Be also look out for another video for round 2 show, and we'll take it from there. But we're getting really close to the start of week 1 of the NFL season. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the support you've given me, this channel, and my podcast. Please check me out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Please leave a review. Please like, comment, subscribe on this channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. How is your team doing in this preseason, and what do you expect from your favorite football team? And what are you looking forward to week 1? What do you think the storylines are going to be? But until then, my closing message is, again, just be great. Be passionate what you want to do. It is your story. Don't let anyone else tell it but you. You want to be a firefighter, for example. You want to be the next best NBA player. You want to be the next accountant. Go for it. Just make sure you have a support circle to push you, to elevate you to being great. And make sure with your circle, you have a circle of those that make sure they keep you in check and keep you focused and keep your eye on the prize. Because you will have people that will become, when you, like what Nas said in his song Hate Me Now, when you're on top, there's envy. People will get jealous and people will find a way to tear you from your path. So remember, stay focused, eye on the prize. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you very much. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, y'all. Stay out.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.